Hey everybody, how's it going? Good evening. Hope it's going well for y'all. We're back to talk about the SAM linebacker position once again. And haven't I been talking about this position a lot lately, given the fact that I repeatedly say it doesn't matter that much? Kind of interesting how this offseason is broken out, but circumstances have dictated that I spend a decent amount of time talking about Sam because I just don't know what we're going to do there. And I think this team doesn't quite know what they're going to do there yet. So, Sam linebacker, I've talked about it a bunch over the last couple of months. I've talked about the possibility of having Daryl Taylor play Sam. I've talked about the possibility of having Alden Smith play Sam if he's actually able to play football this year. One possibility that I haven't been giving much credence to was actually something that I thought was going to be the default back when the offseason first started. And yet, it actually seems like, in terms of verifiable information from the organization, it is looping back around to being the most likely scenario. So, there's this tweet here from MR Sports 604, retweeted by Bob Condotta, who gave the original quote, about what we might do at SAM. So the tweet reads, Seahawks linebacker KJ Wright re-signing still remains a question, and Bob Condotta has not heard anything new, but he believes that there is a very real possibility that the coaching staff would like to see 2019 third-round pick Cody Barton at the SAM position full-time. Okay. So back when this offseason first started, I had Cody Barton in my mind penciled in as the starting Sam, but as I started to think about it, I felt like he just wasn't a good fit for that position in terms of his skill set and what he had shown so far. So I started to think Barton being more of a backup Will and then having to do something else at Sam. But it seems like the team might want to have him play in that spot. So let's spend a couple minutes talking about that. So here's how things would break out if this was the case. So, assuming Brooks becomes the full-time weak side linebacker, then Barton would play only on base downs. So basically, when we have three linebackers on the field, Barton comes on. And then the primary responsibility for covering tight ends would fall to safeties. He likely wouldn't be on the field in the nickel. So Wagner and Brooks are on the field most of the time. Barton only comes on in base defense. So, on the one hand, let's talk about the positives here. I like that the team has a plan that involves letting their young draft picks sink or swim, like Cody Barton. He's been on the team for 2 years now. He hasn't played very much defense. He's been really good on special teams, legit on special teams. And now they're going, okay, here's your chance. Go out there, do something in a starting role, and I starting because we all know nickel cornerbacks start in this day and age and they play more, but he'll have a permanent role on defense for a good 20 to 25 snaps a game. They're saying, we spent a third round pick on you. We've kept you on the roster these last couple years. Time to prove that you can actually do something more than just be a special teamer in the NFL. Either you're going to go out there and perform or you're not, and then we'll know what you are as a player. So I do like that. I like the fact that we are trying to find a solution to the Sam linebacker problem on the current roster. We're not going to have to go out to get somebody else. I like the fact that this team seems like they're resolved on not using a lot of cap space to bring back KJ Wright, because I have been warning against that for months and months and months now. How it would be a bad idea to give KJ Wright any more than a few $1,000,000 to come back, if anything at all. I've warned about not wanting to let these players that you drafted with a top 100 pick come and go without giving them a real chance to succeed in the NFL. I like these things. However, Cody Barton, when I think of Sam linebacker in the NFL, I think of a player who may not have to be on the field that often, but when he's on the field, you need to be able to do two things well. You need to be able to rush the passer, and you need to be able to play the run. With Cody Barton, I don't know if I see either of those things. The little bit we've seen of Cody so far, it seems to me that his strength is coverage. Seems like he's pretty good in dropping back against tight ends and running backs and making plays in coverage. I remember in the playoff game we won against the Eagles, he had 2 pass deflections, which led the team. I think he made a couple other plays in coverage in previous games when he was in because of injury. So when I think Cody Barton, I don't think Sam linebacker. I feel like there's a big difference between a guy like a Cody Barton and a guy like a Bruce Irvin. You want the Bruce Irvin guy to be your Sam because it matches his skill set. Cody, I don't know if I see it. When I look at Cody, I see a guy who is good in coverage. I haven't seen any reason to believe he's good at rushing the passer. And as for stopping the run, I think we all remember that Vikings game last year where Dalvin Cook left the game and then we just couldn't stop the run at all. Like the run defense was just awful. And Cody Barton was a big part of the problem in that game. I remember that was one of the games he started and played a lot on defense, and it was ugly. He had like 14 tackles in that game because the Vikings kept running at him because they knew he could not stop them. I am somebody who has been a little more wait and see on Barton than most. I know most Seahawks fans just want him out of here or they want him never on the defense again. They think he's a bum. They think he's a special team player and that's it. I have a slightly more optimistic evaluation of Cody Barton than that, but if you don't know how to play the run, then I don't know how you're going to play Sam because as a Sam linebacker, you're coming on the field on base downs. And on base downs, the opposing team is more likely to run the ball. So your ability to stop the run as a Sam is probably your best asset, followed closely by your ability to rush the passer because on the passing downs, it's more likely you're going to be a QB spy or a rusher. So I don't mind giving Barton a chance to prove he can do something on an NFL defense, but I have to say, this role, I don't know if it fits him. But hey, the team hopefully knows more than I do, right? You would hope that the team knows more about Cody Barton's skill set than I do. So interesting development here. This is the most concrete thing we've heard from this team so far in terms of what our actual solution is at Sam. We have theorized about re-signing KJ Wright. We have theorized about moving Taylor. We've theorized about Aldon Smith, maybe even Benson Mayowa. But the Cody Barton thing coming from Bob Condotta is the most concrete information we have yet about this team's intentions. So maybe Sam linebacker is just completely off the menu for 2021's draft, which I'm fine with, and maybe I guess Barton's going to get a chance, and I'm cool with that. I just don't know if this is where he has a chance to really succeed. So with that, I'm going to get out of here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about this. I know there's a lot of anti-Cody Barton sentiment out there, so go ahead and express it. I myself don't really think his skill set matches that of a Sam, so not crazy about this, but we will see. Peace out, Go Hawks. See you guys later in stream. Hey, let's just let the draft get here so we can figure out what this team is actually thinking their needs are, right? See you guys later.